Disney built an empire on magical cartoons, but not every show hit the mark. Some were so bad that fans still cringe remembering them. From creepy hybrid animals to boring pirates, these disasters proved even Disney can fail spectacularly. Here are the most hated cartoons ever made. Disney is synonymous with incredible animation and timeless storytelling, but let's be real, not every cartoon that came out of the Mouse House was a winner. Some shows were so badly received that they became cautionary tales in the animation industry. We're talking about cartoons that made kids reach for the remote, shows that parents openly mocked, and series that Disney probably wishes everyone would forget. These aren't just mediocre shows, these are disasters that crashed and burned, despite having the full weight of Disney backing them. Let's start with The Wuzzles, because this show is nightmare fuel disguised as a kid's cartoon. The concept alone should have raised red flags. Take two different animals, mash them together, and hope kids find it cute instead of disturbing. We got Bumble Lion, who was half bumblebee and half lion. Ellaroo was half elephant and half kangaroo. Butterbear was half bear and half butterfly. The designs looked like failed genetic experiments, and kids absolutely hated it. The show only lasted one season with 13 episodes before Disney pulled the plug. Nobody was sad to see it go because, frankly, these hybrid creatures were creepy as hell. Then we have Mighty Ducks, the animated series, which proves that not every movie franchise needs a cartoon spin-off. Disney saw the success of the Mighty Ducks films and thought anthropomorphic crime-fighting ducks playing hockey would print money. They were spectacularly wrong. The show featured actual ducks with human characteristics who fought villains when they weren't on the ice. It was basically trying to copy Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but with ducks and hockey instead of turtles and martial arts. The execution was embarrassing, the animation was cheap, the plots were ridiculous, and nobody could figure out who this show was actually for. Hockey fans didn't want crime-fighting duck superheroes. Superhero fans didn't care about hockey. It lasted one season and disappeared into obscurity where it belongs. Fishhooks deserves special mention for being aggressively mediocre in every possible way. This show about teenage fish living in a pet store aquarium had zero reason to exist. The premise was unoriginal, the characters were walking stereotypes, and the humor fell completely flat. Every episode felt like a knockoff of SpongeBob without any of the charm, creativity, or wit that made that show legendary. Fishhooks tried incorporating live-action elements with the animation, which just made everything look cheap and confusing. The romantic subplot between the main characters dragged on forever, and nobody cared. Critics trashed it. Viewers ignored it. The show lasted 3 seasons purely because Disney needed programming to fill time slots. Jake and the Neverland Pirates is the show parents put on when they need their toddlers distracted for 20 minutes while they do chores. It's not offensive or terrible in an interesting way. It's just soul-crushingly boring. The show features 3 kid pirates having adventures against the least threatening version of Captain Hook ever created. Every episode follows the exact same formula. The kids find something. Hook tries stealing it. The kids outsmart him easily. Everyone counts gold doubloons and learns a moral lesson. There's no excitement, no stakes, no memorable characters. It exists purely to keep small children occupied and sell pirate-themed merchandise. Shorty McShort's Shorts failed so spectacularly that Disney cancelled it after just 13 episodes. The anthology format featured different short cartoons with no recurring characters except the host, who wasn't even part of the stories. Disney was clearly trying to copy what Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon did successfully with their anthology shows. Cartoon Network gave us Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo, and Powerpuff Girls from What a Cartoon. Nickelodeon launched Fairly Odd Parents from Oh Yeah Cartoons. Shorty McShort's Shorts gave us absolutely nothing memorable. The shorts were boring, forgettable, and lacked any creative spark. One unreleased short eventually became Fishhooks, which tells you everything about the quality bar here. The buzz on Maggie is what happens when nobody can figure out the target audience. The show follows Maggie, a teenage girl dealing with typical teenage problems like crushes, bullies, and fitting in. Except she's a fly who lives in a garbage dump, with gross-out humor and bodily function jokes everywhere. Was this for teenagers who could relate to the storylines? Was it for younger kids who might find the fly jokes funny? Nobody knew, including the creators, apparently. The animation was decent, and the theme song actually slapped, but everything else was a confused mess. Critics gave it mixed reviews. Audiences found it annoying. It lasted one season, and nobody mourned its cancellation. Kick Buttowski, Suburban Daredevil had an edgy title that promised excitement, but delivered forced coolness and tired tropes. Disney tried cramming every extreme sports cliché into one show about a kid who performs dangerous stunts in his suburban neighborhood. The animation was snappy, but the actual content was painfully generic. Every episode felt like a checklist of things Disney executives thought kids found awesome. Skateboarding? Check. Rebellious attitude? Check. Catchphrases? Check. Actual personality or charm? Nowhere to be found. The show lasted 2 seasons purely on momentum because once you greenlight something at Disney, you have to at least pretend it was worth the investment. Ti Amo Supremo represents Disney's failed attempt at making their own superhero team show. 3 kids with superpowers balance school life with fighting crime. And yes, we've seen this exact premise done better literally everywhere else. The show had 0 charm, 0 originality, and 0 reason for anyone to watch it. The character designs were bland. The plots were predictable. The action scenes were boring. It felt like a show created by committee, where executives listed every popular element from successful cartoons and mashed them together without understanding why those elements worked. The result was a soulless product that lasted 3 seasons because Disney had already committed the budget. Monster High gets included here with an asterisk because technically it started as a Mattel toy line that Disney picked up for a web series. The show features teenage daughters of famous monsters like Dracula and Frankenstein dealing with high school drama. The entire thing existed to sell dolls and merchandise. There was barely any actual storytelling. Each episode was just an excuse to showcase different outfits and accessories that kids could buy in stores. It wasn't even trying to be a quality show. It was a commercial masquerading as entertainment, and audiences saw right through it. The franchise eventually found success elsewhere, but the Disney web series version was transparently cynical and cheap, so Random deserves special condemnation for being disrespectful to everyone involved. The show started as Sunny with a Chance, starring Demi Lovato as a sketch comedy performer. When Demi had to leave for rehab to deal with serious personal issues, Disney made the absolutely insane decision to continue the show without her. They rebranded it as So Random and kept going as if nothing had happened. This wasn't just creatively bankrupt, it was morally questionable. The show was literally built around Demi's talent and charisma. Without her, it had 0 identity and 0 reason to exist. It lasted 1 more season before mercifully getting cancelled. But the damage to Disney's reputation was done. What all these shows have in common is that Disney clearly wasn't playing to their strengths. When Disney focuses on beautiful animation, clever writing, and memorable characters, it creates timeless classics. But these disasters happened when executives chased trends, tried copying competitors, or greenlit concepts without thinking through the execution. The Wuzzles tried being cute, but came off creepy. The Mighty Ducks tried being cool, but felt desperate. Fishhooks tried being funny, but landed flat. These weren't just commercial failures, they were creative failures that proved even Disney, with unlimited resources, can produce unwatchable garbage when they lose sight of what made them great in the first place. The lesson here is that brand names and big budgets can't save terrible ideas. Kids have standards, and they can smell desperation from a mile away. When a show feels like it was designed by marketing executives instead of creative artists, it shows immediately. The pacing feels off, the characters feel hollow, the jokes feel forced. Everything about these shows screamed that Disney was phoning it in and hoping the magic mouse ears would carry them through. Spoiler alert, they didn't. The worst part is that Disney learned nothing from most of these failures. They kept churning out generic shows that followed the same failed formulas. Take 3 stereotypical characters, put them in a wacky situation, add some pop culture references, and hope for the best. It worked occasionally by pure luck, but more often it resulted in forgettable shows that disappeared without making any cultural impact. For every Gravity Falls or Phineas and Ferb that succeeded by being genuinely creative and well-written, there were 5 fishhooks or kick-Butowskis that failed by being derivative and lazy. Looking back at these disasters is painful because you can see the wasted potential everywhere. Imagine if the Wuzzles had been designed by artists who actually understood character design, instead of executives who thought mixing animals would automatically equal cute. Imagine if Mighty Ducks had committed to either being a straight sports show or a superhero show instead of trying to be both and failing at everything. Imagine if Fishhooks had an original concept instead of being SpongeBob at home. These shows could have been good with better creative direction, but Disney rushed them to market to fill programming blocks, and the quality suffered catastrophically. The most hated Disney cartoons ever weren't just bad television. They were missed opportunities that wasted talented artists' time and viewers' patience. They proved that even the biggest animation studio in the world can fail spectacularly when profit takes priority over creativity. These shows are cautionary tales about what happens when executives ignore the fundamentals of good storytelling in favor of chasing trends and maximizing merchandise sales. Disney should be embarrassed by these failures, but instead they just pretend they never existed and hope everyone forgets.